Hello everyone, before this video starts, I would appreciate if you guys would leave a like and subscribe, since your support means the world to me and allows me to make these types of videos. Now let's get into the video. LOL, I got a professor that doesn't cancel class when it rains because of course that's my luck. Like it was in their syllabus even. Rude. Otherwise, my classes don't seem like they'll be too bad. They're all general requirements since I haven't declared a major yet, trying to get my math, science, English, and whatever the heck the rest are considered out of the way. For my science requirement, I decided to take geology because, I don't know, it sounded neat. I'll be taking sociology. It was either that or philosophy, and I don't know about philosophy. Doesn't seem like my kind of thing. I've also got this great ideas course that my advisor was hyped about, and it fulfills some requirement. Don't know which one, but it sounds pretty much like the professor is being given free rein to teach whatever he feels like. So it should be interesting. I haven't found out much more about the rain. Honestly, I haven't tried that hard. After being publicly gaslighted like that, I wasn't keen on trying again. I just wanted to keep my head down, get used to being in college, and maybe even make some friends. Cassie and I are getting along fine. Not much to say there, honestly. It's just like any normal friendship out of necessity, you know? We talk about superficial stuff and go get dinner together, and she's introduced me to some of the people she knows from our dorm floor, and I feel like I'm settling in fine. No, I haven't asked her anything else about the rain yet either. She was clearly uncomfortable, and I don't want to ruin everything so soon. My first week was pretty uneventful after orientation. I didn't have anything weird happen until I needed to do my first load of laundry. There's one laundry room for the entire dorm, and it's on my floor, just down the hall from my room. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing yet. On one hand, it makes doing laundry easier because it's a short walk. On the other hand, there's a lot of people coming and going on my floor. I'm used to a noisy house, but it feels weird to hear total strangers passing outside my door at all hours. At least I already know how to do laundry. I did my own at home since Mom was at the store so much, but I'm not exactly a fanatic about it. I don't care if stuff sits for a little while until I feel like making the effort to pull it out. Cassie warned me that I'd need to be prompt in changing my laundry when I took it down to the laundry room, as there were only a handful of washing machines and dryers, and students would just dump your stuff if it was taking up space for too long. If you were lucky, they would be considerate enough to dump it on the folding table instead of the floor. I'm sure you see where I'm going with this. I lost track of time. I'm trying to keep up with my classes by being on top of the reading assignments and the homework. My scholarship is academic, so I need to keep my grades up. This is the only chance I have, so I can't waste it. When I finally surfaced from my great ideas reading, I realized that my laundry had been done for over an hour by now. Cassie said that people would dump laundry after only 10 minutes. So the odds that my laundry was laying in a heap on the floor were pretty high. Worse, it was the wash cycle, so they'd be laying in a wet heap. I gathered up my quarters and laundry basket and headed down the hallway, bracing for the worst. It was fine, I reasoned. I could always rewash it if it was too dirty. The floor in the laundry room is decently clean, but the corners hadn't been scrubbed in a while, and someone could well be an asshole and toss it in with the dust bunnies. I rounded through the doorway and stared in amazement at the laundry room. It smelled clean, like fresh dryer sheets. Normally, it smells like wet socks. All the laundry was happily spinning away in the washing machines and the dryers, and while my clothing wasn't among them, it wasn't on the floor either. It was on a plastic folding table. Folded. My shirts, my jeans, my socks were all neatly matched and tucked together. Even my panties were folded into tidy squares. And as I was staring in shock, the woman standing by the folding table glanced over and smiled sweetly at me. "Is this yours?" she asked, pointing to the pile of my clothing. Yes," I stammered. "I saw that it was done, so I changed it over to the dryer for you. And then when it finished, I didn't want it to get wrinkled, so I went ahead and folded it." Thank you." I didn't know what to say. The woman clearly wasn't a student. She looked to be maybe 10 years older than my mom, and she seemed so happy to see me slink into the laundry room to collect my laundry. I admit I was a little bit in shock. I mean, I figured the best I could hope for was it would be in a soggy heap on the folding table instead of the floor, but instead it was dry and folded. folded nicer than it's ever been folded in my life. Who folds underwear? Especially someone else's underwear. Seriously, that's some dedication there. Are you visiting? I asked. Oh, yes. And I just couldn't stop myself from helping out. It's rough being far from home, isn't it? Unexpectedly, I felt tears in my eyes. It had been a long time since my mom had done laundry for me like this. Not since I was old enough to do it myself. I know I keep talking about my mom, and I swear I don't think she's a bad mom. I just think she has a lot to deal with and is doing the best she can. She can't tick off all those boxes of the stereotypical perfect mom, and sometimes she makes mistakes. Big mistakes, TBH. And being away like this in an unfamiliar environment and feeling like I'm on my own without even my mother to support and help me, this simple, kind gesture was overwhelming. And to stave off questions in the comments, yes, my mom and I have talked on the phone. It's been pretty superficial conversations. There's a lot of elephants in the room, and neither of us are ready to address the herd yet. I busied myself with carefully loading the laundry into my basket to keep from crying. The woman watched the whole time, smiling sweetly. You take care of yourself now, she said as I turned to leave, and good luck with your classes. I thanked her and returned to my room. I put away my laundry just as I'd received it. Never in my life have I folded my socks and underwear. Normally, they just get stuffed in a wad and shoved in the dresser. But it just made me so happy to look at that I had to put it in exactly as she'd given it to me. The shirts I unfolded and carefully hung up in the closet. It felt so nice to have someone else go through that effort for me. Again, not trying to criticize my mom all the time here, but she just didn't have time to do this sort of stuff. That simple, kind gesture managed to dispel all my fear and worry for the rest of the day. I got all my readings done and finished up my homework with plenty of time for myself, which meant that I could do something I really shouldn't put off any longer, returning the sweater that had been loaned to me at orientation. I wanted to return it clean, as I'd been sitting in it while drenched, and it just felt like the right thing to do. Well, it now sat neatly folded on my desk and there was nothing else I needed to do, so there was no better time than to return it. I had the girl's dorm name and number, and I just had to look it up on the map, and then off I went. She wasn't in her dorm, and her dorm is literally on the other end of campus, and I didn't want to go back a second time, so I left it at the front desk for her. They promised me they'd drop her a note to come get it. I wonder if I'm being complacent, or if maybe my instincts about these kinds of things just sort of suck. I should have told the front desk about how I received the sweater, or waited to give it to her in person. I don't know. The next day I came back from class and found there was someone in my room. Someone that wasn't Cassie. The woman was in my room. The one from the laundry room. The one I thought was someone's visiting mom. She was stooped over my open underwear drawer. I stared in the open doorway, staring in mute disbelief. She straightened and turned, that sweet, caring smile plastered on her face. It was even more unsettling due to the circumstances. It hadn't lost any of its warmth. But she was here, in my room, going through my belongings. It's so nice to see your work was appreciated, she said serenely. Almost as nice as opening your dresser in the morning and seeing everything nicely folded and put away, isn't it? Yes, I stammered. It really brightens my day. Something I learned from the campground. If the inhuman thing was being polite, be polite in return. Because at that moment I figured I was either dealing with an inhuman thing, or I don't know, Cassie's mom. There was no resemblance whatsoever, but it was still possible. The woman could be Cassie's mom, who Cassie gave a dorm key to for reasons, without telling me. I know, I was grasping at straws. Either way, it was a situation where politeness was extra warranted. Let's look at the closet, she said. You unfolded all those shirts, of course, but hung them up properly, I see. No wrinkles in sight. Just lovely. It's so sad to see students showing up to class looking like they're wearing clothing they slept in. There's no one here to take care of them, the poor things. Is that why you're here? To take care of us? I asked warily. I help where I can, she said pleasantly, and I appreciate it so much. But where's the sweater? She shuffled my clothing, plucking a few hangers off the rod to move them so that my t-shirts were all to one side and my winter shirts were on the other. Oh, it wasn't mine. Someone loaned it to me, so I returned it. I see. She was still smiling, but her eyes no longer exuded motherly warmth. My heart began to beat rapidly, painfully, in my chest. Please let this be Cassie's mom, I thought. We could bond together over having difficult mothers, and that would be the end of it. She turned to look at my closet again and moved a few more shirts around, smoothed them gently as she did so. I guess I'll need to go have a talk with her, she said. If someone takes care of your laundry for you, the least you could do is put it away nicely. And that sweater was not put away nicely. Believe me, I know. I always know. Oh, no, 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 I thought wildly. It was something inhuman, and this poor girl had accidentally broken the rules of favors. Of all the awful mistakes to make, if you aren't properly grateful for a favor done for you, it's turned against you in the most terrible way. Wait, I stammered, stepping towards her and reaching for her arm. I clutched at her sleeve, pleading. She didn't know. I didn't tell her. It doesn't matter, she said, idly brushing me off. A gift is a gift, you know. Of course I knew. But the other student didn't. It wasn't fair. It's never fair. I tried one last time. I grabbed her arm again, trying to turn her away from my closet, trying to make her look at me, thinking that maybe if she saw my face, if she saw my frantic, terrified tears, she'd reconsider. And she did turn, slowly, patiently, as if dealing with a petulant toddler. She looked down at my desperation and she put a hand on my cheek. There was something like static in my brain, like the world blinked out. And when it came into focus again, I was alone in my bedroom with the door hanging open to the hallway, drenched in a cold sweat and panting, shaking in terror. I didn't know how to contact that poor girl. I only had her dorm number. I tried leaving a message on the general Discord, asking if the student that lent me a sweater could message me privately. No one responded. In desperation, I messaged Chicken Tendy Boy. Yes, I know his name now. No, I'm not going to use it. He pissed me off, so he is now Chicken Tendy. Do you know that girl that lent me her sweater? I asked. I told him what dorm she was in. LOL, no, he helpfully replied with no follow-up whatsoever that would indicate an interest in why I was asking. I told him anyway. Lol, she even folded your panties. I ranted at him that this was serious and that something strange was going on, and I was concerned for her. Like the lights and that noise we heard, I said. I wanted to be petty and get a dig in about how he denied it even happened, but I felt that wouldn't be productive. I needed answers more than I needed to vent my anger. He didn't reply for half an hour. I fumed the whole time, stuck somewhere between panic and rage. I'm sure I'm going to catch some criticism for this, but I did not immediately run over there to check on her. I was pretty sure at that point that I was dealing with something inhuman. And look, I'm not like someone we all know that is like a lull. I grew up punching monsters in the fucking face. Let's go kick some creepy old lady's teeth in. That's not me. I grew up seeing the bodies that were dragged out of the woods and hearing the stories from my classmates about what they heard from their parents. I grew up afraid. I still am. And I don't want to die by naively rushing in without knowing what I'm dealing with. Besides, what can I even do? I don't have a weapon. I don't have good instincts. I'm not even all that strong. I'm like the rest of you, helpless and scared of the dark. I've just been sitting here anxiously writing this post because I can't bring myself to do anything else. Then 10 minutes ago, Chicken Tendy messaged me back. Yeah, so I asked someone on my floor and he says your friend is in trouble. Big trouble. And then he stopped messaging and hasn't replied to anything else I've sent him. Thank you for watching the video fully. Please hit the like and subscribe button since I could not make these videos without your support, and it means the world to me.